Hey there folks, Quinn here, Mask Ramen on the internet with another comic book review, and this time I have Cyberforce #1. Suggested I do a Rip Claw review, but I didn't have any Rip Claw, but I do have Cyberforce here. This is actually my brother's copy, so I got a bunch of his Cyberforce stuff because this was his sort of style of reading. This was his book that he liked. I was more of a Wildcats guy. I was never really Mark Silvestri guy. That was sort of Uncanny X-Men before my time. I really got into the X-Men with the Jim Lee stuff, so that's sort of where I started. And this book here is his sort of initial book. It was originally like a mini series. I give this book a 6 out of 10. As I was reading it, I drew a lot of parallels to the Uncanny X-Men. You know, it follows really, now that I see, I always thought it was sort of like a team book where Stryker is the leader. He's sort of like the main character, but that's actually not the case here. Velocity is actually the main character of Cyberforce. It's sort of like, I always imagine it like she's like Jubilee, you know, joining the X-Men, you know, this fantastical world where all these other characters are sort of they sort of have like the Uncanny X-Men parallels, like counterparts, where this is sort of like Rip Claw is kind of like the Wolverine, Heatwave sort of like Cyclops, and you know, obviously the big guy is like, you know, Colossus kind of deal, and the sort of ninja chick is like Psylocke. So that's sort of how I always saw Cyberforce. You know, and it's sort of like the Reavers, kind of like, you know, all these armored gun guys. That's sort of how I always saw it. He draws really good. I really like Silvestri, but you know, he's at the time I was like, that's not Jim Lee, and I was more into that than this. So yeah, this is a pretty good start. A lot of mystery, a lot of like Cyberforce is like an offshoot of like Cyber Data, which is like a company, and then they used to be like enforcers or something like that. And it has this like air of mystery of like all these people know each other, and you know, Velocity sort of thrust into it, where it's a battle between good and evil, where they're trying to, Cyberforce is trying to help her, and then Cyber Data is like the company that's sort of like trying to get her and sort of like bring her back into the fold. And you know, this is sort of like, it's implied in the backstory like this is, you know, Ballistic, and it's like it's supposed to be like her sister, but they actually don't know one another. It's like one of those things where their minds are wiped and stuff like that. But yeah, they're sort of have all these different powers and stuff like that. It's okay, it's pretty decent, and like I said, 6 out of 10. I couldn't help but draw parallels to the Uncanny X-Men, which may have sort of hindered my enjoyment to this. That's my review. Until next time, God bless.